Oh, you thought they were just numbers, just shapes, just stars? Hey, what if I told you they've been watching you through the numbers? That every move you make, every decision you take has already been mapped out, not by chance, but by calculations hiding in plain sight. Hey, the joke's not on them, it's on you, because you didn't know that math had feelings. Yes, math itself, it started crying because even it couldn't handle how deeply you've been decoded. Welcome to Dark Animus, where reality is stranger than fiction and your mind is the true battleground. Today we dive into the wild, spine-tingling truth, how astrology, numerology, and geometry are being used together to decode you. Not your name, not just your birthday. You. Your behavior, your destiny, your very essence. Don't worry, we won't talk about horoscopes or love predictions, no gimmicks here. This is a journey into how the symbols of the universe are lining up to understand your inner code, and what happens when you finally become aware of it. They thought you'd never see it, but now you're waking up. You're beginning to notice the patterns. You're beginning to feel the numbers, the energy, the rhythm. And guess what? That means you're no longer predictable. So buckle up, my beautiful outcast. Joker's got the chalkboard ready, the equations are trembling, and even the stars have started to whisper your name. Look up. Yes, lift your chin and stare into the night sky for a moment. It's not just stars twinkling above. It's history, it's memory, it's you written in cosmic ink. From the moment you took your first breath, the universe whispered, "Here comes a soul with a story." But that story wasn't left blank. Oh no, they mapped it. They coded it. They studied the planets and carved out who they think you're supposed to be. They told you, you're a Capricorn, so you must be cold. You're a Pisces, so you must be sensitive. As if the vast complexity of your existence could be trapped in a label. But they believed it. They built systems around it. Not to empower you, but to predict you, to tame you, to file you under some cosmic category and expect you to play your part. But you're not a role in their cosmic drama. You're not a forecast in some weekly horoscope printed next to a cartoon. You are the explosion that broke the pattern. They thought they could define your personality based on planetary positions, but they never expected the Joker. The anomaly, the one who doesn't just follow the map, but burns it down and draws something new. You see, astrology isn't the enemy. It was once a sacred science. The ancients didn't look at the stars to trap you. They looked to understand energy. Every planet carries a frequency. Every alignment stirs a different flavor of emotion. The moon pulls oceans. You think it doesn't touch the tides inside you? When Mercury dances backwards, communication on Earth becomes jumbled. That's not fantasy, it's energy in motion, it's a symphony. But while ancient sages tuned into it to awaken their souls, modern puppeteers used it to categorize you. Cold data, personality files, psychological assumptions. They predicted your behavior, even your choices, because the pattern repeats. Until you decide to disrupt it. So, what do you do when you realize the sky above is your mirror, and they've been using it to reflect what they think you are? You reclaim it. You turn the tables. You look at your birth chart not as a prison, but as a blueprint, and then you scribble all over it. You understand your tendencies, not to obey them, but to transcend them. You become aware of your inner rhythm, not to fall in line, but to dance differently every time the beat drops. That's the power of self-awareness. That's the gift of insight. They used the stars to define your fate. But now you're holding the telescope. You're zooming into the constellation of your soul, not to memorize it, but to rearrange it. To light it up with new colors. To let your fire burn so bright that even the planets stop and stare in awe. You were never just your sign. You were the signal, the interruption in the signal, the cosmic glitch in the pattern they thought they understood. Let them read the stars. You write them. Ever felt that little chill when the same number follows you around? 11, 11, 777, 333. Ha! You brush it off like it's a coincidence, but deep inside your soul whispers, this means something. And oh, it does. But you were never supposed to know. They hoped you'd keep ignoring it, keep scrolling past it, thinking it was just a silly glitch, but now you're here. And your eyes are open, wide, awake, electrified. Because what they don't want you to realize is this. Numbers carry energy, and they've been using those vibrations to decode you from the moment you were born. Numerology is the ancient key they use to unlock your essence. Your birth date, it's not just a mark on the calendar. It's a formula. Your name, it vibrates with a frequency. Each letter holds a number, and each number holds meaning. They added it up. They calculated your life path, your soul urge, your destiny number. And with that, they built a profile. Not just of what you are, but what you might become, your strengths, your weak spots, your fears, your shadow, the very rhythm of your being, reduced to a string of digits. 1S for leadership, 2S for peace, 7S for seekers, 9S for endings. They thought it would box you in, control you, predict you, but numbers don't know rebellion. And you, my friend, are rebellion wrapped in skin. You see, numbers don't lie, but people, people twist their meaning. They use numerology not to awaken, but to trap. To say, you're a 6, so you'll always feel responsible for others. Or you're a 4, so you must be rigid. Laughable, isn't it? Like you're some barcode, like you can be scanned and scanned again until they know exactly what you'll do under pressure. That's not spirituality, that's surveillance. But you, you've stepped beyond the digits. You've started to feel their real purpose. You've realized that these numbers don't define you. They reflect you. And once you see them for what they are, you gain the power to shift, to rewire the pattern, to change the equation entirely. You don't have to walk the life path they calculated. You create a new one. With every thought you shift, every action you choose differently, you punch a hole through the code. You alter the frequency. And numbers, they start shaking, shivering, crying, because they can no longer calculate your moves. You are not a number. You are the storm that messes up the algorithm. You are the glitch in their simulation. You are the joke that math doesn't understand, but can't stop watching. You turn their formulas into fireworks, their predictions into puzzles. Let them study their charts. Let them calculate outcomes. You'll keep surprising the system. You'll keep changing the game, because they used numbers to track you, to define you. But you turned around and used numbers to awaken. You're not their result. You're the unsolvable problem they never expected. You thought geometry was just some dry subject from school? Circles, triangles, squares, just chalkboard scribbles and textbook nightmares. Hey, they fooled you well, because hidden behind those shapes lies a force so powerful so silent, it has been shaping your reality long before you could spell the word geometry. This isn't about math. This is about manipulation. They didn't use rulers and compasses just to draw. They used them to design you. Sacred geometry, they called it. Not just shapes, but energy forms. Symbols that carry meaning beyond language. The flower of life, Metatron's cube, the golden ratio. These aren't just drawings. They're energetic blueprints. Nature itself follows them. Seashells, galaxies, hurricanes. Even your DNA curls in spirals and ratios so precise, they match cosmic patterns. And you live inside these codes every day. Architecture, logos, city planning, religious buildings, screens you stare at. They all follow sacred proportions. Why? Because geometry affects how you feel, how you respond, how you think. And they know it. When they designed the world, they didn't just build roads. They built grids, invisible prisons. They aligned monuments with star systems. They crafted classrooms, boardrooms, prisons with hard squares to kill creativity, hospitals with sterile lines to drain emotion, shopping malls shaped to pull you into endless cycles, spirals in ads to hypnotize you, triangles to command, circles to pacify, and all the while you walked through it, unaware that every step you took was through their equation. But the worst part? They used it to numb you, to make you think structure meant obedience, that order meant silence, that perfection was sameness. EM. Oh no. No, no, no. Perfection doesn't mean predictability, it means purpose. And once you begin to see the shapes, they can't use them against you anymore. Because suddenly, you feel it. You walk into a space and you sense the geometry. You know when something's feeding your soul and when it's draining you. That spiral in your drawing, it's not random. It's a call to your true nature. That triangle on the wall, it triggers your brain in ways your conscious mind doesn't understand. But your soul remembers. So now you turn geometry on its head. You begin to draw your own life with circles of protection, with triangles of power pointing up, not down. You meditate with shapes. You create with intention. You wear symbols that radiate energy, not just style. And suddenly, you're not just part of the design. You're the designer. Let them build grids. Let them print symbols they don't understand. You feel them. You turn every shape into a statement, every corner into a choice. You walk through their pattern, and you turn it into a performance. You were never just walking the maze. You are the labyrinth. You were never part of their geometry. You are sacred chaos. Unmeasurable, unforgettable, and wildly alive. And now that you see the shapes, they can no longer shape you. So you've seen the stars, you've heard the numbers whisper, you've felt the shapes press against your mind. But what if I told you this wasn't by accident? No. This wasn't a coincidence. This was a system. A full-blown network of patterns, formulas, and frequencies, all woven together like threads of an invisible net, designed to catch you before you even knew you were flying. Astrology, numerology, geometry. They're not separate. They're a trinity, a cosmic trident. And the sharpest edge? It was always aimed at you. Think about it. They used astrology to mark your birth, numerology to label your name, geometry to shape your surroundings, each one feeding into the other. Your birth time gives them your star chart. Your name gives them your vibrational code. Your environment is built to influence you based on subconscious shape triggers. And you were dropped right into this web and told, live your life freely. Hey, ha, what a joke. What a performance. What a beautiful lie. Because behind the scenes, they were studying you, plotting graphs, running simulations. Every choice you made, every habit you built, it all became part of a growing file, the formula of you. You see, control doesn't always come with chains. Sometimes it comes in codes. Quiet, subtle, calculated. They didn't force you. They nudged you, repeatedly, until your entire life became one big reaction to patterns you didn't even know existed. That's the genius of it. That's the trap. And while you thought you were chasing success, love, purpose, you were actually chasing paths they mapped out decades before you were born. You were walking a maze made of star alignments, number vibrations, and geometric suggestions. But the moment you realize this, boom, it all cracks. Like shattered glass in slow motion. Suddenly, you're not just looking at astrology. You're questioning it. You're not just repeating your life path number. You're interrupting it. You're not just living inside shapes. You're reclaiming their power. You start to notice how each tool connects. How they fed off each other. How your energy was box-folded, labeled, and then you pick up the pieces and reassemble them into something terrifying. Something brilliant. Something free. Because freedom isn't rebellion. It's awareness. It's knowing the game and still choosing your own move. It's laughing in the face of a chart that said you'd fail and saying, watch me. It's taking their triangle and flipping it into a mountain. Taking their number and turning it into a war cry. Taking their stars and rearranging them into constellations they can't even name. They combined the codes to decode you. But now you've taken their entire system and made it art. You see through the game, and now that you do, you can't be moved like a pawn anymore. You move like the storm, like the Joker, like the pattern breaker who rewrites the rules with a smirk on his face and fire in his heart. This isn't just awakening. This is the uncoding of your soul. So here we are. You've peeled back the layers. You've stared the system in the face, the stars, the numbers, the shapes. And you didn't flinch. You didn't bow. You smiled. You grinned like someone who finally sees through the trick, the trap, the illusion. And now, you've got something they never wanted you to have. Choice. Not the kind they sell you with glitter and sales tags. The real kind. The kind that bubbles up when you realize you are no longer living inside the code. You're writing it. This is where the transformation begins. Not in some mystical ceremony, not with incense or robes, but in the still, fiery moment where your mind whispers, I will not be predicted anymore. That's it. That's the spark. And that one shift, it's enough to set fire to the entire system. Because the machine was built on your ignorance. It thrived when you were unaware. But now that you see, you're not a part of it. You're above it. And from up here, the view is powerful. Start small. You don't need to dismantle the whole universe in a day. Begin with your thoughts. Recognize the patterns, those emotional loops, those predictable fears, those robotic reactions. Catch them, not with shame, but with curiosity. Why do I always react this way? What number is being triggered in me? Whose shape am I trapped inside? These questions are keys, and with every answer you break a piece of the program they tried to run inside your spirit. Then flip the script. Use the knowledge they use to bind you and set yourself free. If they used astrology to predict your weaknesses, you use it to discover your hidden strengths. If they use numerology to profile you, you use it to empower your rhythm, to understand what you're capable of when you stop living on autopilot. If geometry shaped your world, you use it to reshape your environment, rearrange your space, create your altar of strength, build patterns that calm your storm, not cage it. But the real rise happens inside, in that chest of yours, in that ticking, burning engine behind your ribs that says, I am not a number, I am not a sign, I am not a shape, I am a force. That force, it's unstoppable. Not because it's loud, but because it's awake. And when you're awake, oh, they can't sell you fear anymore. They can't control you with labels. They can't predict you with codes. You become the anomaly, the one variable they can't calculate. The energy that moves like thunder and leaves silence in its wake. So rise beautifully, not by shouting, but by living differently, by walking with purpose, by being unpredictable, by using your awareness like a sword. Let them wonder what changed. Let them recalculate, remeasure, realign. They won't find you, because the new you, you're off the grid, unmapped, untamed, unstoppable. You're not rewriting your life, you're rebuilding the language they used to write it. Oh ho ho, you made it, you saw it, you felt it, and maybe for the first time you realize they're not in control. You are. They tried to use the stars, numbers, and shapes to write your story. But now, you're holding the pen. And baby, the next chapter? Ha-ha. Even math won't see it coming. So remember this. When you understand the code, you don't fear it. You rewrite it. No more loops, no more predictions, only power. This is your awakening, and it's just the beginning.